Well, I'm out and about today, folks. Good morning, good morning. A little bit late. We've got some technical difficulties here, and I don't even know if this is going live. A few things, maybe some glitches in the matrix. But anyway, we shall see. We shall see. Anyway, good morning, folks. Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats. One or two of you are jumping on right now, so that is good. Let us know in the chat if you can hear me. Everything's coming through loud and clear. And see if we've got no restrictions with our technical out and about plan today. Anyway, there you go. All right, welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks. Out on the road, Jason here. Good to see a couple of you on this morning. Thanks for joining us on this marvelous Monday, 24th of March. Gee, I tell you what, it's flying along, isn't it? So yeah, thanks to Tando. Good to see you on this morning. Great to have you here and joining us. Last week, some of you may have noticed, you may not have, because I'm not on Wealth Coffee Chat every morning now. I just do the Monday show. But you may have noticed that I was away for a fair few days, and myself and Shay and Andy Fenton, we've had a chance to get away and do a little bit of self-development, bit of training, bit of learning. Morning, Tim. Good to see you, mate. We were hanging out with about 100 professional coaches who coach all sorts of niches in Australia and America and the UK, actually all over the world. They coach business owners, they coach tradies, they coach white collar professionals to get promotions, they coach doctors, they coach farmers, they coach specific niches or styles of people in succeeding in their given profession, their given direction. Obviously, here at Positive, myself and Sam and the team, we coach property investors, and now we're doing the business owner wealth system, which is, we're calling the exit plan. Some of you may have already come along. Hey, good morning, Sarah. But listen, we spent a few days to go and find out and hang out with some of the best coaches in the world and find out what was going on, that we could maybe steal, nick, and take and see if there's a few big ahas, big ideas, some big things that we might be finding very useful to take back and implement, train, and teach in the world of investing and property investing. And there was a really quite a good morning, Brett. How are you, mate? We had a presenter there at this seminar, and he was talking about the idea of what it takes to succeed over a long period of time. And a few of you on the chat right now, which is awesome. So let us know if you can in the chat. What do you think it takes over the long term? Let's say over a 7 to 10 to 15 year period, 20 years. What do you think it takes to succeed if you have a goal, a long-term vision? What do you think it takes to succeed? And there was one big takeaway for me. I'll share with you in a minute. But in the chat, do you think it takes discipline? What's the number one this speaker was talking about? Now, this speaker, has had a 30-year career in their given profession, and had some ups and downs and ins and outs, overs and unders. They seriously, yeah, absolutely, some good advice and a strategy for sure, Rosie. I think that's for sure part of the mix. We've got perseverance and action. We've got professional advice there from Sarah as well. Hey, Jeff, how are you? And I think Brett, if we were here today, physically, Brett, you get the prize, you get the apple, you get the I don't know, what is it, the lucky dip. The idea that Persistence, absolutely, Tim. Yep, for sure. Um, but the one thing that was the big takeaway for me in this conversation is or was, let's see if we can make this bit different. There we go. Um, Stick to the plan, not the mood. And what does that mean? What's the takeaway there? What's the takeaway there? Stick to the plan, not the mood. Now, one big takeaway for me was that your feelings, how you feel about stuff, is a big fat liar, right? Big fat liar. I don't feel like doing it today. Feelings have nothing to do with financial success, right? Nothing to do with financial success, and it sort of comes back to a little bit of this, Um, Sarah said, get the strategy right. Yeah, I'm with you. Brett said, get the strategy right. Certainly perseverance and actions, persistence. There's all versions of this, right? When we come to getting it right, going a distance. The number one thing that this person said was that uh, he ignored his feelings about how he felt in that moment, but he continued to stick to the plan. And so over a 30-year period, he had some yeah, absolutely, ups and downs. Now, it doesn't mean feelings aren't right at the right time, but I feel like it's not working. Well, hang on, what was the plan? What was the plan? Let's just talk about being a property investor. And so once you get your strategy together, you guys know the drill. You know, first part of the strategy is the acquisition stage, right? The acquiring of assets, right? The acquiring assets. So in the first 3 to 5 to 7, maybe even 10 years, your job, the plan is to buy good quality property and keep them. Now you're 2 investments in and you go, oh, I feel like it's not working. Oh, I feel like it's a bit hard. I feel like it's taking too long. Who gives a shit about those feelings? The plan was to get the job done. Now, that might sound a bit harsh, team, but let me sort of be really honest with you. We can feel all sorts of ways about all sorts of things at different times for all sorts of different damn reasons. Now, if your plan was to build a property portfolio and buy 5 properties as quick as possible and as safely as possible, that was the plan. Doesn't it? Who gives a shit if you feel like it's not working? You don't know what working means. You have no context of what is working. What happens is we give up too soon. We give into the mood. I'm not feeling it. Oh, maybe not this year, whatever it might be. And that was my big takeaway from the weekend. Well, this speaker, there was a truckload of other takeaways for me, maybe for you too, if you would have been there. But really, at the end of the day, stick to the plan. So stick to the plan, not the mood, not how you're feeling, right? Because some days you're feeling fabulous, some days you're feeling shit. But the plan is still the plan. All right, the plan is still the plan. This year we're going to get a property done. This year we're going to recycle our equity. This year we're going to educate ourselves a little bit more so we can take action. This year we're going to get some coaching. This year we're going to double down on a renovation. This year we're going to add some value. This year, that's the plan. That's the plan. Because I don't know about you. Does anyone maybe put it on the call, put it in the chat for me? You've come up with this idea, this fabulous thing. Like it's a great idea. That's a perfect plan. Let's do it. And then all of a sudden, all of these things come out of left field and kind of lob themselves over the fence and in your way. Has anyone ever? That's right, Tim. That's right. Sometimes you just need to adjust it. Listen, right now, yeah, absolutely. What's holding you back? That's a great comment, Tim, because right now I've got 3 properties. And you guys know my catch, right? Buy well, never sell. And I've bought really well. I've bought really well. And those properties have done their thing. They've reached their potential for what I've been doing. So number one, I've got an older commercial property, a smaller one, that I'm selling. and I bought a better one. Now, and you guys have heard me and Sam talk about the migration of money, the upgrading of our value as we roll along. I've upgraded from a small $350,000 commercial property I've had for years, and now I've bought $1 million commercial property. So I'm compounding, I'm upgrading what I'm doing. Right now, I've got a 35-year-old 3-bedroom waterfront apartment in the Gold Coast, and it's doubled in value. It's fantastic. I haven't owned it for 35 years. I've owned it for about 15. So doubled in value. Very happy with how it's gone. But it's reached its heights. It's in a building. The strata is an old strata. It's kind of being held back by its ability to renovate the whole strata. So I'm selling that property, and then I've traded it. I'm taking my $1 million, and I've traded it up for another amazing brand new property in a better location in the Gold Coast. I've stayed in the same city, but I've moved it to a much better built, a brand new building. Water views never to be built out, closer, like basically right there in Broadbeach. Anyway, you know the drill, right? So, yeah, dead right, Sam. Shake off the poor. Now, exactly. When you first buy them, they're like, okay, well, this one's great. I'm happy with it. And then it doesn't work. Then get rid of them, right? Again, it's part of the plan, right? Part of the plan is to keep moving forward. You don't sell it and go sulk in the corner, okay? That's what you don't do. That one didn't work, or maybe at that point I wasn't educated enough, or, I just bought a piece of rubbish. Just did the best I could at the time, and it was just a piece of junk. Then move on. Sell it, buy a better one. Sell it, buy a better one. Then once that one's performing, you're like, happy days. I'm going to stick with this right now. Stick with the plan. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. You hear what I'm putting down. It was brilliant. It was brilliant to take some time out and hear from, super successful people, and, some really simple takeaways. There's all the tactics in the world, folks. There's all the tactics. You absolutely need some great advisors, some great team. You guys know we talk about the 6-star team all the time. Get the right professionals on your side to make it happen and make it work. It's fantastic. You've got to go the distance. Sometimes shit just doesn't go your way, but you've got to keep taking action. You've got to stick with the strategy. Brett, love it. The strategy's the strategy. Like, and Brett, you, me, and Green, we've talked about this, quite a lot. You guys are taking a few years to get, the strategy in play, but you're sticking with it. It didn't feel good to begin with, but now we're rolling forward, as we go along. So, I love it. I love it, folks. Keep going. Stick to the strategy. Stick to the plan. And if you need to, sometimes it's just you cycle off the poor performers, and you redo, you reset. Sometimes to take 2 steps back, you got to take 1 step forward, and then you get the momentum that you need. Stick to the plan. Feelings about investing are often the poorest way to make decisions. Anyway, there you go. Well, I've got to get done and dusted this morning, folks. Hopefully you're well. Now, listen, if you're in Western Australia, if anyone's in WA, we're having 2 things. We're having a pop-up mentoring in Western Australia, pop-up mentoring. So make sure you come along this Friday in WA, and also for business owners or high net worth investors, $3 million or more of assets, $1 million or more or equity. We're doing an exit plan on Friday from 12 until 4 in Perth. Exit plan 12 to 4 this Friday coming up in Perth, and then a pop-up mentoring from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in Perth for all of you wonderful, wonderful people. Anyway, tag and let all the Western Australians know, folks. All right, well, great to have you all on this morning. Thanks for joining, as always. Be good, be well, and remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Buy well, don't sell unless it's strategically to get rid of the poor performers and buy a better one. Anyway, that's it from me today, folks. Thanks for joining us. I don't have any of my little bibsy bobsies here today because something's happened with my system. But anyway, I'll say goodbye and I'll just press end. All right, that's it, mate. Cheers, folks. Bye for now.